Good evening. This time I'm going to call to order our January 8th meeting of the Baldwin County Planning and Zoning Commission. If you will, at this time, if you'll stand with me, we'll have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Our Father, we're thankful to you for this day, thankful to you for this great county we live in. We're thankful to you for the elected officials, our first responders, all of those, Father, that make this what it is. And Father, we're so thankful for the citizens of Baldwin County. Father, we're tasked with conducting business here tonight. We pray that you'll give us insight and wisdom in what we do, and may we do it and glorify you in what we say and do. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll call our roll. Brandon Bias. Here. Scott Schamberger. Here. Michael Mullick. Here. Greg Seibert. Here. Michael Fletcher. Here. George Waters. Here. And Doug Lipscomb. Here. And Reed Key. We have a quorum, and we welcome all of you to our meeting tonight. At this time, we will look at our minutes. All of you should have gotten a copy of those. So I would entertain a motion, unless you have any comments on those, entertain a motion if they be approved. Our December 4th work session, and then our December 4th regular meeting. Moved. Mr. Seibert's made a motion they be approved. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Michael Mullick second the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, Mr. Dixon, you want to? You can go ahead and do it now. I know we got a consent item. We'll do that in a moment.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
You say good morning.
Here we go. We do have several public hearings tonight. Just a little quick overview of what our public hearing process is. So we have several types of applications that require public hearings: subdivision variances, conditional use permits, and site plan approvals, and any kind of regulation change or amendment. Our guidelines are public comments should only be made during the public portion of the meeting. When you come up to the podium up front, just make sure you state your name and address into the microphone for the record. And it is being recorded, so please try to speak into the microphone and speak clearly for the record. Comments should be directed to the Planning Commission Chairman, and he can pass those comments out as he sees fit. Comments should be focused on the application being presented at that time, and then comment from individuals are limited to 3 minutes. If you're speaking for a group, just let the chairman know what group you're representing, and he can grant you 5 minutes. So in our subdivision cases, we go through this every month. It's just the state law is very clear that if the subdivision application has met all of our requirements, all of our subdivision regulations and ordinances, that we have no discretion, that we must approve those applications. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Thanks, sir. Okay, we do have one item on the consent agenda. This is case number PER 25-49, South Bend Village Phase 3 and 4 extension. We have a public, is this a public hearing? I always forget that's not, is it? All right, so this is not a public hearing. So this is an extension request. Does anybody have any, staff need to say anything on this one? Anybody have any questions on it?
I'll make a motion that we...
Hang on just a second, Michael. I want to make sure nobody... All right, no one signed up on it, so I'm going to close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the case PER 25-49.
All right, Mr. Mullick's made a motion that we approve the request. Do I have a second? Second. Mr. Bias has seconded the motion. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, now we'll go down to our case items. We'll go to our first one. Open the public hearing now for case number CPD 25-03 and SV 25-24. This is the Lillian Boat Storage. Ms. Boykin? All right, let me ask my usual question. Does anybody need to clear prior communication on this item? Okay, I didn't think so. Go ahead.
Okay. I will be presenting this case for Corey Rhodes. This is two cases. It's a CPD and a zoning variant, a subdivision variance, which the CPD is a new, where we combine CSPs and PUDs. All right, so the property is located in Planning District 33. It is currently zoned B3, General Business District. It is located south of County Road 99 and west of 7th Street in the Lillian area. The applicant is seeking a commission plan development site plan approval for open boat and RV storage that will include a proposed of 100 units. All right. As stated, this is a commission plan development approval consisting of 100 open boat and RV storage units. The subject property is approximately 3.62 acres and is Zone B3 General Business. There's no wetland impacts are proposed as part of this project. A variance from the usable open space requirement of Section 6.1.4 of the subdivision regulations has been requested since this is a commercial use. And the request meets the requirements of the Baldwin County subdivision regulation and zoning ordinance. Here's a locator map of the subject property. Here's a site map. Here's photographs of the adjacent properties. Here is the site plan that the applicant is requesting. Erosion control and landscape plan. And as stated, the applicant is also asking for a variance from the requirements of the PUD, which include the elimination of the usable open space requirement. Staff believes granting this variance request complies with Article 8, Section 8.1 of the Baldwin County subdivision regulations. The future land use map shows this area as ideal conservation and also rural agricultural and low impact development. Here are their permits that are required that they submitted. Staff recommends approval with the conditions below. One specific condition is approval of the subdivision variance, and the last three are just general conditions that we usually have on all of them.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, anybody have any questions for staff?
Was the application specifically for 100 units?
Yes.
'Cause I think there may be more than 100 units on the site plan. I think if I just did a quick count, I think there's like 97 in that central island by itself.
Okay. Well, maybe the applicant could clear it up, but on their site data table, they list 100 units as proposed.
Any other questions? We'll see if the applicant's here. Anybody else have a question for staff? Okay. If not, is there a representative for the applicant here? Can you come up and speak to that particular question on the number of units?
Yeah. I think this is not, I said 97, this is actually 94.
Hello,
Hi.
how are y'all doing?
Give us your name, if you will.
Catherine Clark.
Okay.
So it looks like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to zoom in. On our original submittal, it was 100 and I can't find it on my plans right now exactly how many is proposed on here. I would have to count them up. You want me to do that right now?
I'm not sure how we would handle this.
Yeah, if it's twice that, we probably,
Yeah, because your required number of parking spaces will go up too.
It says 100 units on here, on the plans.
you said 97 in that center section.
Actually, 94 is what I counted, and Scott counted 54 or 54?
Is that counting?
56 on
is
the
that
west
counting
side.
two? That dash line, you counting two?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's a pull-through stalls.
I don't know.
They're not really but one.
Are the central, are they pull-through, or are they 2 units, one on each side of the
One
central
on each
island?
side.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, there's a
So
lot more.
there's 48 units in the middle.
On one side. Because there's a line running down the middle, so that looks like,
I think the confusion may be the roof, the legend for the roof, the pole barn roof, those lines, are those lines intended to delineate parking spots on the plan?
I don't think so.
Because if they are, I think that's the issue. We don't have a plan showing the layout of the, that's what we assume is the layout of the units, right?
yes, I believe so.
So, of the spots.
Yeah, Jacob, so if this
That's-
gets approved with 100 units, that's just what they're at.
It's 100
Yes,
units,
yes.
so.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's
Okay.
100
I think the
units.
confusion, it looks like the line work for the roof structure.
Correct.
Is getting confused with the slips for the space.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
It probably would have been good, though, to have had a plan that just showed the
Yeah,
slips.
you could add a condition to the approval if you want to have them supply a layout for all the parking spaces. all the switch
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
I would say that's probably the best, just so we see, there's a.
spaces. Yeah, that would be
a
best,
match
just make
with
it
the
very
number.
clear,
Yeah.
But the approval was for 100, so we would like to see what the configuration.
The final layout, yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that. I'm good with that.
Did you have anything you want, that was a question we had, do you have anything you need to, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else have a question for the representative? Thank you, ma'am.
I do.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You know, we discussed this some in work session, and this is, it's right across from the boat launch here, across 7th Street. I guess it's where you're only showing one entrance, and that's lined up with the exit of the boat launch. I don't want to say it seems like it would make more sense to do to have two entrances, and maybe the lower entrance would line up with the entrance. I mean, I'm assuming predominantly these are going to be boats, and we're all like to, I want to say, typically, there is some of a rush hour when we're, going to the water and when we're coming back. I mean, I don't like the fact that it's only got one entrance and that it's, it's like going to be an issue when you're you're going to make a right turn out of the storage to stop in the middle of the road to make a left turn into the boat launch. So that's just one of the things I don't like, and it can be a congested area these particular weekends or during the summer. It'll be Sunday afternoon and or holidays, and I think it's something worth considering. I don't know if we need a turn lane in there, between the entrance and the exit of the boat launch where we can get our right-hand turn made and then, stopped before we're clear to make our left turn into the launch. So that's my concern with what's across the street from it and where these people are probably looking to go.
All right, any other comments? All right, thank you, ma'am. I did have one person Donald Lindsay, did you want to speak? I know it says neutral on here, but.
Yes, please. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Donald Lindsay, and I am the owner of a parcel of property directly across 7th Street from this property in question. I'm the parcel immediately north of the Baldwin County Boat Launch Facility. I received initial notification of this proposed development back in the summer from the Corps of Engineers. I responded to that, requested information, was not really given very much information from the Corps. They said that was more of a county issue, which obviously now we've gotten to that point in the development where they have come to the county, and so I received a notice again. The development has changed a bit between the initial notification I got from the Corps and now. It has been reduced in size somewhat due to the wetlands that are at the south end of this property, which is good. I have predominantly two concerns. One is stormwater runoff. I know that they are showing a retention pond at the south end of this. In the initial Corps of Engineers development, they were showing a centerline berm running north-south in the center of the property. So in general, storm drainage was moving in a southerly direction, but also being diverted both east and west from that center line. The current information provided does not give me topographical information to be able to judge that. So I don't know whether they're going to be adding stormwater runoff onto 7th Street or not, but I would be concerned if they are. You know, the existing conditions, stormwater in the undeveloped piece of property is all going south into that marshlands, and I would hate to see them start to push stormwater runoff onto other contiguous properties. The second item, which was just discussed a few moments ago regarding the entrance exit to the property. In the original application that I saw, that entrance was going to be in the northwest corner out onto County Road 99. So that has now changed to 7th Street. County Road 99 is obviously a wider, larger, higher capacity road. 7th Street is much smaller, narrower, and lower capacity. So that does present some concern, and the gentleman who suggested maybe a second entrance exit would be much, I'd be much in favor of that as well, and that one being out the northwest corner onto County Road 99. The turning.
All right, thank you, sir. Unless you wrapped up.
Well, I just had one last little comment. The turning radius for the exit where it is currently shown with the width and length of these vehicles that are likely to be stored here, I am concerned about the potential for the turning radius actually encroaching onto the frontage of my property on the opposite side of 7th Street. So that is a concern that I would like to have addressed with respect to the entrance and exit to the facility.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Can you guys speak to a couple of those items?
I can speak on a few of them. So as far as the stormwater, so we made sure that they did design their project for our stormwater requirements. So they made our pre versus post, so they're not increasing the runoff from the site. They also did our first flush requirements, so they're making sure they do that. We looked at the exit, velocity, so make sure that it was slowed down before it actually got into the wetlands through there. So we checked all the stormwater stuff. This site does have 40-foot radii for their driveways, so that is size for bigger trucks and trailers. So that's the most that we require.
Okay. All right, that's all I had signed up to speak. So, any other questions or comments from Planning Commission members.
I've got one
George?
question for the lady that came up first. I'm sorry, it's sort of an afterthought. Just noticing that the only utilities is going to be water and power, and I'm wondering if each one of the stalls are going to be supplied with water for washing the boats down and cleaning the boats, which people normally do when they come out of the water to get the salt water off of it. And if so, was there proper drainage and everything for the soap and the sludge and everything that would be coming off of the boats?
Yes, please.
The water is just for a wash area. That's it, just one small wash area. That's it. You're welcome.
Hold on one second. Back to the entrance and exit. I can't find out, how wide is that entrance?
It's 24 feet.
24 feet?
I'm assuming that's a requirement. That's our, I'm going to have to piggyback off of Mr. Mullick. I have real concerns with people getting in and out of that, both entering and exiting the storage facility itself, accompanied by whatever traffic may not be a part of the storage facility that's coming out of the boat ramp, at the same time. So, I feel like that's going to have to be addressed, one way or the other. I don't know if you have any ideas off the top of your head for how to handle that, or are we just going to stick with this 24 feet and do your best?
It's 50 feet of length, 24 feet wide.
I got it. Okay,
I mean,
thanks.
if there's a congested area, it will be confined within the site.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Any other comments? Ms. Boyd, can you have anything else to add?
I do not.
Okay.
Don't forget, this is for two cases, the variance and the
Yeah.
CPD.
Let's do the variance first. Technically, that has to happen in order for the second one to be approved. So let's deal with the SV 25-24, assuming everybody on the Planning Commission knows what that's about. So that's our standard variance we've been giving on these type issues on open space. So I'll entertain a motion on SV 25-24. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to close the public hearing. Now do it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve SV 25-4.
-24.
-24, correct?
Okay?
Second.
So Scott's made a motion we approve. Michael, second the motion. Michael Fletcher, I should say, since we have two Michaels. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so the variance is approved. All right, so we've discussed a couple of things on the site plan, so, which is now's the time to discuss, or you can make a recommendation in a motion.
I make a motion that we deny case CPD 25-03 for reasons of traffic hazard in regards to the boat launch across the street.
Okay, Mr. Moakes made a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Greg has seconded the motion. Any questions or comments on the motion?
Jacob,
What was the question? Sorry.
is that appropriate grounds for denial?
I think what Mr. Mullick was trying to say was it's about the traffic circulation, because that's one of our requirements for site plan approvals. Is that correct, Mr. Mullick? It's about the circulation? Yes, sir. So, so there's a couple ways. I mean, obviously you got a motion and everything, but, if, if you feel like your solution of adding the second entrance to align with the entrance across the street to have directional traffic circulate through, you could certainly condition it on that kind of approval, or you could just deny, continue on with your same motion.
Is that a question to address to the applicant? I mean, I'm satisfied, I mean, I know we've seconded, but, do we table this, or, I just don't think this is.
It could have been tabled.
You could also
and given
table
them
it,
the
yeah,
opportunity to
allow them time to address it.
come back with an alternative plan, right?
Yeah, so you have three options here. Obviously, you got a motion to deny on the table. You could table it and ask them to go back and revisit their traffic circulation, or you could approve it if you think it's just the second entrance to improve that circulation, you could have that as a condition of approval.
I'm gonna let the applicant address, if they're willing to look at a second entrance, then we can table it, or if they say we want to stay with one entrance, we'll stay with a motion to deny it. I mean,
You'll have to come back up to the front.
We already have the condition for appropriate spots identified, right?
We'd have to add that condition.
So we gotta add that condition.
If we motion for approval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm the developer, Dave Gordon. We can do the second entrance. I don't know how much that helps with that, or we can move the entrance down further south. You have the picture? To where it's sort of outside from the entrance and exit of the existing boat launch.
I think some of our discussion in the work session was regarding, you've got one entrance now aligned with the exit of the boat ramp, which makes sense for, boaters to come straight across. But you've also got the turning motion of people leaving the boat storage yard, turning south, and then turning east to get into the ramp. So if you kept the entrance you had now, or if you kept that as the entrance and then created your exit further south, so they could then shoot straight across, I think that would really eliminate some of the issues that we had
Yeah,
with
we can do
circulation.
that. If that's what has to be done, absolutely.
And I know you've got some drainage, looks like storage for drainage happening there, so there may be some kind of reconfiguring of that pond that would have to happen for that to work. And that was my thought in the work session, we discussed it.
How far is the gate access off of 7th?
I think it's roughly 75 feet.
Okay. How much was that? 50. I'm just trying to make sure you got enough room for, the boat and a truck is sitting there to get in, right? There's
Yeah, well,
room
those
for-
buildings are, if I'm not mistaken, 40, so it looks like maybe there's about 75, because I think we have a 25 setback plus, I think it's closer to 75.
We
foot.
couldn't tell on the drawing exactly where the gate was. Is the gate?
The gate will be all the way up
All
at
the
the
way,
very
okay.
front.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I just want to make sure there's enough room to queue a boat with a truck, right?
Right.
Trailered there without
It should be
being-
75 foot. That's what we normally do, 75 foot.
Okay,
The gate will be all the way at the very front.
got it.
That gets, yeah.
That was my only concern.
All right. So you're willing to make some adjustments then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will definitely make the adjustments with condition,
Thanks,
upon
sir.
condition. Thank you.
All right, Michael.
Is it safe for me to withdraw my motion for denial and propose a motion to table this?
Let's take you wanting to withdraw your motion?
Yes.
And who made the second? You okay with that? I don't know if that's the official way to do this, but that's comfortable with me. So we withdraw that motion then. Now, Michael, if you want to make.
Is it more appropriate to go for our next meeting? That's in, I'm gonna say, plus or minus, or 30 days or 60 days?
So,
Do you want to table it, or do you want to put a condition for a second entrance?
I think it's worthy of tabling to visually see what will come back.
yeah, I would, that's a question for the applicant, make sure they can turn around that time. I would say the next meeting.
Is 30 days or 60 days an appropriate time to bring this back? 1 month or 2?
Do we have to do the submittal deadline?
No, you just have to provide revised drawings.
You just have to provide revised drawings.
Yeah, I would recommend 60 days, and if they can have it in 30, they're more than welcome to submit it by then. That's just when we would have to address it,
Yeah.
the backstop of when we would have to.
That's probably the safest way to.
Yeah, I would say the March meeting.
I'll make a motion that we table case number CPD-25-03 until the March meeting
And
for drawing revision in regards to the entrance and exit of the facility.
okay,
I think there's a couple other conditions, right?
Subject to
I don't think we
staff
have to do
conditions.
those.
You don't?
Yeah, staff, just normal
Okay.
staff conditions, yeah.
Okay.
I think they would address those and whatever they.
all right. So Mr. Mullick's made the motion that we table it. Have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bias has seconded the motion. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, we open public hearing now for case number SPP 25-34, Sweetwater South. Does anybody need to declare prior communication on this item? Okay, Ms. Waters.
All right. Sorry, this is taking a little. Well, I feel like I did this the last time too. Please stand by. Technical difficulties. Well. Anybody from CIS? Downloading, no. Oh, processing. There we go. Oh, gosh. All right. Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh. All right, sorry about that. As you stated, Mr. Chairman, this is case SPP 2534 for Sweetwater South subdivision. This is located in Planning District 39. It is currently zoned RSF2 for single-family district. The subject property is located east of State Highway 181 and south of County Road 32. The request is for a preliminary plat approval for 49 lots of a residential subdivision. The subject property is currently zoned RSF2 and is approximately 34 acres. RSF2 allows for the density of 2.9 units per acre, and the proposed development proposes the density of 1.4 units per acre. A little bit of a background, the County Commission approved the rezoning request of this property from RA to RSF2 at their April 15, 2025 regular meeting, and this proposed subdivision meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations. The proposed public utilities are City of Fairhope for water, Baldwin County Sewer Service as a sewer provided, with, we'll talk about this a little bit further during the conditions regarding the sewer treatment plant for the Malbus, and the Baldwin EMC as the electrical provided, and AT&T as the broadband provider. A traffic study was prepared and submitted to staff review, and no traffic improvements were recommended. Drainage narrative was prepared and accepted by the permit engineer, and a wetland delineation was
done and identify jurisdictional and non-jurisdictional wetlands with the inappropriate buffers are reflected on the plat. All right, staff recommends approval of the Sweetwater subdivision with the specific conditions that all permanent signage for the jurisdiction wetlands in the streams must be installed before any land disturbance begins following the issuance of a subdivision permit. Per the applicant's comments regarding the Baldwin County Sewer Service Malbus treatment plant, it is under construction and expected to expand the operating capacity at the Malbus treatment plant facility to 2 million gallons per day and should be completed within the next 180 days. This expansion is required to be completed and accepted by ADEM prior to obtaining final plat approval. Also, the applicant shall verify that all proposed drainage ditches are located outside of the individual lots and are entirely contained within the designated common areas, and revise as needed and provide a stormwater management plan sheet for that. Here is your zoning map and your vicinity map. And here is your preliminary plat in a zoomed in, enlarged version. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for staff?
And we have not received any public comments on this that I'm aware of.
We have. Okay. No questions for staff? Mr. Smith, did you want to say anything? All right, Dwayne's here representing the applicant, so if anybody has any questions for him. All right. No one. We had no one signed up to speak. So with that, I'll close the public hearing. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number SPP 25-34 Sweetwater South, subject to staff conditions.
Okay. Scott has made a motion to approve, so conditions, all right. And do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
I heard Greg on that. Greg seconded the motion. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We'll open public hearing now for our next case, which is case number SPP 25-36 and SRP 25-23. Does anybody need to declare prior communication on this particular item? All right, Ms. Mosley,
Good afternoon.
all yours. Technical problems again?
I think, what? Got it up. That's a good thing. Okay. This is for SRP 2523 and SPP 2536, Walking Our Cattle Land and Cattle subdivision, also being a part of the replat of Smithfield Estates lots 6 through 8, slide 2989, C. The request is for an SRP 2523, is for a subdivision replat for common lot line moves of lots 6 through 8. And SPP 2536 is for the preliminary plat approval for a 4-lot, large lot residential subdivision. Staff is going to recommend approval with conditions. The planning district is 6. It is unzoned. The subject properties are located in Planning District 6, east of County Road 112 and west of County Road 61, commonly known as Phillipsville Road. It is in a flood zone. There was a drainage study prepared by Christopher Lieb, and it was accepted by our engineer. And there was a wetland assessment report completed by Wetland Sciences, Craig Martin. Here's our location. Zoning map. Aerial. This is Smithfield Estates, the recorded subdivision, and the proposed lot line moves. This is merely so the lots can gain access to Phillipsville Road. And there will be a 30-foot natural buffer along the west side. There was only one public comment, and please no more subdivisions on Phillipsville Road, Highway 61, too much traffic already. Perdido Beach School is full. Hugh Palmer. Again, staff analysis. SRP 2523 is requesting a subdivision replat of Smithfield Estate subdivisions, lots 6, 7, and 8 for common lot line moves of the lots to give the proposed large four-lot subdivision access and road frontage on County Road 61, Phillipsville Road. SPP 2536, it was requesting preliminary plat approval for a large four-lot subdivision requiring one common drive for Lot 1 and 2 to access County Road 61, Phillipsville Road. Staff recommends that SRP 2523 and the SPP 2536 both be approved with conditions. Specific conditions is apply for the driveway permit major residential and construct to county specifications. The driveway must be installed and inspected prior to final plat approval for staff review. The subdivision replat of Smithfield State subdivision must be recorded within 90 days of the approval date. Any questions?
All right, any questions for staff? Okay. I just realized I had two Smiths here tonight. Sorry, Hunter, a while ago, I didn't realize that, so I'll call you by name. Hunter, do you have anything you need to add tonight to this?
I'm here to answer questions.
All right. So Hunter is the engineer representing this, so anybody need to ask him any questions? Okay. No one signed up. I'll close the public hearing then. Entertain a motion. We will, do we need to take these separately also?
Yes, please vote on SRP first, please.
All right, SPP, you say SRP?
SRP first, please.
All right, so have a motion on the SRP 25-23.
I make a motion to approve SRP 25-23, subject to staff conditions.
All right, Scott's made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bias has seconded the motion. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, now we'll entertain a motion on the other case.
I make a motion to approve case number SPP 25-36, subject to staff conditions.
All right, so Scott's made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bias has seconded that motion. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Chairman votes aye also, I forgot. All right. Let's open the public hearing now for case number SB 25-37. This is the Warner subdivision. Anybody need to declare prior communication on this item? Okay, Ms. Booth.
Good evening. Okay, this is for SPP 2537 for Warner subdivision. It's for a preliminary plat approval for a four-lot residential subdivision and located planning district 33. This is, again, for four lots. They will front on Library Street, They meet the required setbacks. Public utilities is Perdita Bay Water for water, Baldwin County Sewer Service for sewer at the Lillian Treatment Plant, and Riviera Utilities for the electrical. Drainage narrative was prepared by J.E. Hamlin, P.E., and it states that subdivision of this property will not be changed by the division of this property. And it also states in there that it will be the property owner's responsibility to maintain that it does not incur any changes as development occurs in the future. So the proposed subdivision will require common drives to meet the access management policy and the installation of a sewer main along Library Street to provide sewer to each lot. The applicant owner shall coordinate with Baldwin County Sewer Service on an acceptable construction plan for utility improvements. The proposed plan shall be submitted to P&Z staff for review and approval for the issuance of subdivision permit. Both common drives and the sewer improvements shall be installed, inspected, and accepted prior to submitting for the final plat approval. To ensure compliance with fire flow testing, the side setbacks were increased to 11.5 on each lot line. This is your zoning map, and I have revised the map to show the correct outline of the parcels. This is your aerial map. And this is your plat showing the layout of the lots. And this is, staff is recommending approval with conditions. Specific are the preliminary plat approval is good for 2 years from approval. The applicant developer shall submit construction plans for utility improvements to P&Z staff for review and approval, and the issuance of a subdivision permit. No construction shall commence until a subdivision permit has been issued. The applicant developer shall submit a commercial turnout permit, DPC, permit for the issuance of a permit to install the common drives. A no deficiency letter will be required to be issued before the final plat application can be submitted. Standard general conditions, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions for staff? Okay. Is there a representative here that needs to say anything?
Yeah, I'm Brandon Baldwin with David Lauer Survey. I'm here to answer any questions.
All right. Anybody have a question for their representative? Okay. I have. Okay. I have no one else signed up to speak on this then. I'll close the public hearing. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number SPP 25-37, subject to staff recommendations.
Okay, Scott's made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bice seconds the motion. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, this time we'll open the public hearing for case number SV 25-25. This is Coleman Lane Family Exemption Variance. So, does anybody need to declare prior communication on this item? Ms. Booth?
Yes, sir. Okay, this is for SV 25-25, Coleman Lane Family Exemption Variance. This variance is being requested to be approved for a family division that has been submitted. Staff is recommend denial, and I'll go into that further. So it's Planet District 7, is located on the east side of Coleman Lane, north of Highway 31 in Spanish Fort. There is a pending exempt family subdivision that is, the action that's taken tonight will determine whether or not that can be approved or not. So, in accordance with and subject to the provisions of the Alabama Code 11-24-2 as amended, the sale, deed, or transfer of land, including transfers made pursuant to a will or the laws of interstate succession by the owner to a person or persons, all of whom are members of the owner's immediate family member, And below is the definition of that. And a division of, in accordance with, the immediate family members are identified as a spouse, parent, grandparent, child, grandchild, and/or sibling. Adopted or step-related individuals of the same status of an owner are also recognized. The applicant cannot subdivide the property through the normal subdivision process, as the subject parcel has access to Coleman Lane via 30-foot easement, and a two-lot subdivision would require a 60-foot access to Coleman Lane. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow conveyance from cousin to cousin, which is not allowed under the current subdivision regulations and provisions of the Alabama Code. Staff has reached out to determine eligibility of immediate family member, and the cousins share relationship through their grandfathers, which are brothers. However, the conveyance is not from and to an immediate eligible family member. There are no other provisions to allow for such variance requests, and staff is recommending denial. And I'll have Petey answer any questions you have.
All right, any questions for staff?
Was the option of subdividing this and requesting a variance on the 30-foot to 60-foot ingress easement, is that even an option?
I mean, yeah, you can always ask a
Ask
variance
for the
through a
variance.
typical subdivision process, but that's
Right.
not what's been asked.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions for staff? Did we have somebody signed up? Is there a representative on this that wanted to speak to this item? You'll have to come up to, I'm sorry, you have to come up to the podium. Or we can bring them, do we have a microphone we can take? All right, either way. You can sit there at the table and bring the mic to you.
Okay, with the Coleman family, we all are Colemans, and our grandparents were brothers. However, whatever Marcus wants to sell his property, whoever, we are in agreements with that. However, we just don't want them to come through our property. So wherever he's selling the property at, he needs to find the way to get there instead of coming through an opposite way.
Okay. Well, technically tonight, that's not even a consideration. They're asking us to grant a variance for the way they convey the property, and we're not even, it's not even dealing with the access. Mr. Schamberger, he brought up a good point that could have been an option, but that's not what they presented to us tonight, so.
Okay, so we were here to oppose, so we're not at that point, so.
Yeah, yeah, it's a different, they've asked for something else tonight, so that's not even on the table.
Thank you.
I guess it could be if we were to approve it, but I'll be honest, Hunter, you go ahead. I'll let you speak first.
You can finish if you'd like.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, unless you tell me something that's going to be earth-shattering, we're all pretty convinced on this one. This is just not one, I think Jay probably said it best earlier, it's not probably one that should never even came to us. It's just not something we can.
This is explicitly spelled out in the Code of Alabama. We don't have any authority to grant variances to the Code of Alabama.
I get it and understand, and I just want to clarify, I think what they are saying is they agree with the recommendation of denial. That's. Okay, well then, but I get where everything, I presented this on behalf of our client and told them what the circumstances would likely be, and so that's where we are right now.
Okay. All right. That's all we had signed up to speak. So with that, I'll close the public hearing. All right, so let me just be very clear. I don't know if everybody heard what Mr. Dixon said earlier. This is just one of those items that we do not have the leeway to grant a variance on. It's just explicitly spelled out in the state statute what we can do on this particular type item, and this does not fit that. So we're unable to approve this particular item the way they're proposing it, so. But since you've made the request, we'll take the action, which staff has recommended denial, so any other discussion by anyone on the planning commission? I think I closed the public hearing, so I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we deny case SV 25-25.
Okay, Mr. Bison made a motion that we deny. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Greg seconded the motion. Any comments on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We'll open the public hearing now for case number CSP 25-44. This is the Dollar General Commission site plan approval. So anybody need to declare prior communication on this item? Ms. Boykin?
All right. All right, this is a commission site plan request for a 9,100 square foot discount variety store. The subject property is located in Planning District 12 between Riles Road and State Highway 59. It is currently Zone B3 General Business, and it consists of 2.31 acres. Here you can see the subject property outlined, which they have done a division of land, which doesn't include the whole part that is being shown. To the north and south is B4. Across 59 is RA, Rural Agricultural, and to the west is Residential, RSF4. Here's some pictures of the adjoining properties. The proposed site plan is for a 9,100 square foot discount variety store. It does conform to the requirements of the zoning ordinance. A discount variety store is permitted in B3, and staff believes that the use is consistent with the community welfare and should not detract from the public's convenience at this location. Here's the site plan. The future land use map does show this area mostly as moderate development potential. Here is their parking plan. They did receive a variance to reduce the number of required parking from 46 spaces to 30. Here's their landscape plan. And staff has recommended approval with the following conditions. They will need a submittal of ALDOT turnout permit. They have applied for it, but they have not received approval yet. And then also the rest of the conditions listed on the slide is your typical conditions we have for every CSP.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
I see one. It looks like they have a right-hand turn. Is that a turn lane coming in from the north to the subject property?
That's correct.
We didn't talk about this earlier in work session, but is the subdivision that's directly across Rawls from this, the new one that's going in, right?
So, I guess west side, yeah.
Yes.
That's Cambridge, I believe.
Are they required to put a sidewalk in on Rawls Road? Have they been required to put no sidewalks? In all my career, I have fussed and fought over sidewalks in places that make no sense. And then here's a site that it makes sense to have sidewalks and connected to the site, and we don't require it. It baffles me sometimes. It just seems like it would have been good planning to have had sidewalks and even a connecting sidewalk to this. Everybody knows that development is going to be having to go out. If they drive to this site, they're going to have to come out, go around, get on 59 and come into the site. Somebody said earlier, some people actually walk. You said that, didn't you, Mr. Bond? Yeah. So now they're just going to get in the car and just take off over there. But anyway, I'm wasting time, I guess. All right, anybody have any questions or comments on this item? Is there a representative here on this one? Do you have anything you need to add? Probably want me to shut up, not bring up sidewalks on site.
I do have a question for the applicant.
Okay?
I'm Tara Bennett with the Broadway Group, and we are the developer, so I'd be
Okay.
glad to answer, or try to answer your question.
Did y'all ever contemplate a road that would, where you could have access from Rawls to the property?
Yes, sir, we sure did. In fact, before we moved very long in the process, we reached out to the county highway department, as well as ALDOT, and our initial thought was maybe to do a second entrance. You can imagine our client would have liked that, but it was not supported. So that is why we were encouraged to get our access on the ALDOT road. And while we don't have our permit from them, they did give us preliminary guidance, and they were satisfied with the general concept, but did require that right turn lane.
Is there any type of access via sidewalk or a trail or something from the other road? Or do they have to go down through a ditch?
No, there is no proposed access of that sort.
Just seems like it would be advantageous for a Dollar General to provide that for the community
That was my
that's
thinking,
going
Michael.
across the street.
That was exactly my thinking. It just seems like it would have been a intricate part of the neighborhood almost to create that.
Yeah, I don't think that that was specifically required under the zoning code, and
You're right,
it was
you're right.
not
It's
brought up in
probably
any
not
of our
required.
comments by engineering
No, I
or
get it.
planning.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
I'm just saying what should be, but sometimes.
They may have got, you may correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, on the second entrance, you said it wasn't supported. That intersection at Rawls and 59 is not it has its issues, so that's where they maybe steered you just toward 59, and that's our in and that's our out.
Yeah, communities get scores, walkable scores and things like that. I just think I think in the future, we need to think about things like walking access or bikes or go-karts or surfboards, whatever, where you don't have to use a car to get to the store. There's probably people over there in wheelchairs that need access. So that's all, that's my comment for the day.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
All right, did we have anybody signed up? That was it. No one else signed up to speak? So I'll close the public hearing, and unless somebody has comments or questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve case number CSP 25-44, subject to staff recommendations.
Okay, Scott's made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Greg seconded the motion.
Brandon seconded.
Excuse me, Brandon seconded the motion. Thank you, sir. Any questions on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Okay. That is that was the last of our items. Now let's go to, hang on just a second. I don't have my sheet for what's left on here. So, did we have any public comments? Got one? All right. Thank you, sir. I didn't have that.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? My name is Susan Cade, and I would like the panel to explain to me a little bit more about family subdivisions. I live on a road where one has been granted, And as a result of that, my neighbors and I have been denied due process on subdivision of land because of a family subdivision. I would like to know how property can be purchased on the open market and divided in this way without going through the proper procedures.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we had a variance tonight, someone asking for a variance from this very code, which we had to deny. But so.
And I was very pleased to see that was denied.
Yeah, so the Code of Alabama is very clear on the rules they give us how we can regulate subdivisions. And one of the things they have in section, excuse me.
4.2.
No, I'm talking about the Code of Alabama, not subdivision
okay.
regulations. Section 1124.2 of the Code of Alabama, which talks about the submission, review, and approval of plats. And of course, it goes through the whole process about the due process of public notice and things that have to happen to get a subdivision plat approved. But then at the very end, it goes in and it says, notwithstanding the provisions of subsection A, B, and C, which were the subsections describing the process you have to go through to approve a plat, this section shall not apply to the sale, deed, or transfer of land by the owner of an immediate family member, except that in the event that there is any sale, deed, or transfer of land by the owner of an immediate family to someone other than an immediate family member. So that last little piece of the sentence is very key. So it says very clearly, like, if there is a family member dividing property to give it to other immediate family members, they do not have to go through the normal application review process. They have to go through the family exemption process. Now, the discrepancy has been for quite some time. What does that last sentence mean? Except for in the event that there's any sale, deed, or to someone other than an immediate family member, right? This is the county section of the Alabama Code. There's a separate section that deals with municipalities. In the municipal section of the code, it gives a very clear, there shall be a deed restriction of 24 months where it cannot leave an immediate family member. We don't have that in our section of the code. So what we have been working with our legislature on is to amend this law to clarify what does that mean? How long does it have to stay in the family member if you do as a family exemption? I believe they're considering bringing it up in this next session that's about to start, that will hopefully give some clarity and give us the same rules that the city has, that it has to be deed restriction for 24 months. And I think that will clear up a lot of this stuff that we're dealing with. But the fact is that if they come in and they produce all the documentation that says, we own this property and we want to give it to our son, our daughter, and our sibling, or whatever, all those criteria to be a immediate family member, we have no choice but to give them their family exemption because the law that we have to go by says we have to do that. Hopefully, if we get the law amended, it will put this deed restriction on 24 months that will stop these loopholes that are being used to deed it to a family member and the same day sell it to someone else. Because that does happen. Yeah. So that's the process we're having to go through now. It's really a process at the state legislature to try to clear up the law and what our rules are that we have to abide by, because it's very unclear right now. That last piece of statement, it doesn't give us a definitive, like, when does it leave? Well, does that mean forever? Like, if it ever leaves the family, it has to go through the subdivision process? Like, so it's very unclear. We're trying to clear that part.
I think my question is more about what is a family plot?
A family division, it says to an immediate family member.
Oh, I understand that.
And right, so that has to be, so if you have an immediate family member is defined as a spouse, sibling, parent, grandparent, or child. So it doesn't mean cousins or whatever.
That's why the other one got denied.
Right, exactly.
My question is, how can a developer buy a piece of land, take it out of his business, and the very next month get a family exemption approval? That is where my complaint is.
So what you're describing, what happens is a individual who
will remain nameless.
May be a developer. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is not talking about any one specific person. There's a lot of people who do this. They buy a piece of property speculatively, whether they're a developer or whatever they are. and they divide it, give it to their spouse, their kids, whatever, and then they immediately sell the lots. They just divide it. That happens a lot. I track it every month. We have around 500 lots a year that are involved in exemptions. That's the volume of lots we're talking about. This is not a handful of lots. This is a lot of lots, okay? And the vast majority of them are legitimate exemptions, but there are some that are abusing the system. We do have the ability that if it's very clearly that the exemption process was used to circumvent the regulations, we can then basically stop permits on that site and say, you have to come back and go through the subdivision process. But at that point, it's just, making them come into compliance with our rules. The property's already divided at that point. But there are
Well, and that's why I'm here, is the property has already been divided. We knew the land had been sold because it was already divided under a family estate. So the family exemption has already occurred, and one of the family members sold the land to the developer. Now we're faced on the north end of our road having to deal with exactly what we're having to deal with on the south end of our road. And that's why I'm here, to try to stop it before it gets so far, because these loopholes are creating an opportunity for people to just ignore the rules. It's one of these situations where it's legal, but it's very much not ethical. And I want the panel to be aware. I'm not going away. I'm talking to the state representatives. And Jay, if you are Jay, right? Because I haven't met you. I've spoken to you on the phone. If you could send me that code, I'd like to forward that to my state representative, because I feel quite passionate about this, as you can tell. So I just want to make you all aware that this is a problem, and all of my neighbors feel the same as I do, that we have not been given our due diligence or due process in having a say-so of what's going on. And before we know it, we're going to have a big fat mess on our hands on our street.
Okay.
And it's all been caused by the rules. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right. Was there anyone else that wanted to, under the public comments, that wanted to speak? All right. Anybody on the Planning Commission have any comments? Okay. Jay?
I do have a quick little report for you guys tonight. Maybe it'll open faster than it's been opening. Okay.
I may have a quick question.
Sure.
In regards to what the lady was referencing, and you're talking about the potential of let's say a 24-month time that's after this, whatever. Are there any stipulations on how long something is, owned, let's call it family owned, before it's divided?
No, and more than anything, what we're working on with the legislature is trying to have some consistency between how municipalities have to handle it and how we have to handle it. So, the biggest thing is on the back end, because it has happened, that where they will record deeds to family members in the morning and record deeds selling it in the afternoon. I mean, it does happen, and that's not what no one intended that code, none of the legislatures intended that code to be used that way. And quite frankly, it's just not that big of an issue in other parts of the state. This is, because of the growth in Baldwin County, and this is not a local bill. It's a statewide bill. This is not a local law. But I do think if we can have the consistency with the same terminology that the municipalities have to go by, that would clean the vast majority of it up. Like I said, because there are a lot of properties involved in this, and like I said, the vast majority of them are 100% legitimate and being used for the right reasons, but there are some that are not, so. Okay, do have a couple little updates, one on some ongoing projects and then the little summary of rezoning actions. I did not have, I'll have, next month I'll have you guys kind of the year-end summary about how our trends showing all the different types of permits every year. So we closed out 25 and wasn't quite able to finish that whole report before this meeting, so we'll finish it before next meeting. So ongoing project little update. If you guys remember a few months ago, probably back in the summer, I gave you guys an update about we had some grant funding through Mobile Bay NEP for some Agua watershed modeling stations and some to develop the LID stormwater management design tool that goes along with our new subdivision regulations that were adopted back at the beginning of the year. So a little update on that. So we do have those grants were fully executed and in place. We have all the Agua stations in place now. There were 5 new ones added. There were already several around the county. We added 5 additional ones. 1 went into Magnolia River, and then 4 went into Styx River. And these are both rainfall and river elevation monitoring stations. So what we'll use that for is obviously looking at kind of existing conditions, but as we start looking at different regional detention ponds or developments in areas, we have more of a regional model of what the watershed's doing, so we can manage stormwater in a much more efficient and accurate and better way. The second part of that is we do have our consultants underway and getting near completion of developing our stormwater management design and review tool, and we have training scheduled, and would invite any of you guys that want to come on February 12th. It's that morning, and really the objective of this whole thing is to bring in the cities in Baldwin County, consultants, developers, and contractors, so they can, one, become familiar with what our forms are, how do you work with our regulations, and how do you use our tools that we're providing to help guide the design engineers of how to do this. But also the tool that our consultants created to evaluate the submitted solids and nutrient loading that is part of our requirements now for stormwater, for LID standards. But then also how we can use the Agua stormwater modeling tool, because we would like all of our engineering professionals in the county to utilize that information when they're designing their stormwater systems, so they can, we can really get a better look about existing conditions and future impacts as ponds and developments come online. We had several partners on this. Like I said, Mobile Bay NEP was our funding partner on that, but 50/20 Engineering Resource Group, which is Wade Bertram, was one of our consultants, and Hydro Engineering Solutions, John Curry and Dwayne Smith, different Dwayne Smith than you guys normally see, but they were our consultants and did a great job for us on it. So we do have that coming up. That'll be a great tool for everyone to see, and I'm really excited about where that's going. A little summary of our rezoning actions. From the December meeting, we had a couple of planned developments. The first one was a planned industrial development, which we don't see a ton of those, but this is actually an existing site out off of County Road 64 near the interstate. This is a Pallet 1, if you guys know where that site is. It's been around for a while. But they're adding 2 buildings, and one of the things that we'll need to address in some future zoning ordinance amendments, our parking requirements for industrial facilities are based on a square footage of building, which is not the way to do it. So basically, they either have to get a variance, which they don't have a hardship to warrant a variance, or they have to do a PID. So we'll be looking at addressing those parking requirements for industrial spaces next time we do some zoning amendments. But right now, we're sending them through the PID process, and that gets them where they need to be and properly addresses it. But that was approved. The next one was down Fort Morgan. It was a Seaglade PRD, and this site's been around for a very, very long time. You probably, several of y'all know have seen it before, but there was basically existing 100 or so platted lots out there, and going through their incidental take permits with Fish and Wildlife for the beach mouse permits and all these different things, it got down to 27 cottage lots. So it was a drastic reduction of kind of the existing condition out there. But also, technically, they could have gone through an administrative replat to move these common lot lines to make 27 lots. So going through the PRD was by far the best way to approach this. That way we get the right design tools and protection. And I think half the site's going into conservation for beach mouse habitat. So it was an interesting one. Not our typical PRD we see that has a lot of, usable open space and all these different things we normally look for. This one right here was all about conservation and trying to address that site appropriately.
Probably see that in March.
Oh, yeah, you guys will be seeing this in March. The preliminary plat. Rezoning, we had one just outside of Faro, BCZ to RR. This was actually very close to that, one of the subdivisions you guys just saw tonight, but it was a BCZ property, just rezoned RR. He has a landscaping business and just needed to get it out of BCZ to do that. We're seeing a lot of things come up with BCZ. They're getting zoned properly because of the kind of strange conditions of BCZ zoning. They're having to rezone a lot of property. Another one was this out near Fish River. If you guys know where the fire station is, right there by County Road 9 and 32, it's right across the street from that. So obviously that's a commercial node there already. This property was zoned BCZ, it got zoned to B2 for a Dollar General. It's going to be a little thrift store, whatever that classification is for Dollar General is what it's going to be, but it makes sense right there to support the neighborhood. This one let property was B2 to B3. This is over in the Lillian area. If you guys remember where the old restaurant was that burned down many years ago, it's that site. I think they're doing a fast food restaurant, so they had to.
Jack's.
I think it's a Jack's, that's what I understand, yeah. They had to get to B3 to be able to do the drive-through restaurant service. That's all we had in December, so I'll keep my report nice and short today. Like I said, next month we'll give you a little summary of 25 and how it compared to the previous years, and we'll go from there. But
Okay.
anything else, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions? All right. As you heard in work session, at our next meeting, we will also elect our officers, our chair and our co-chair. I say it every year, you don't listen to me. I wish someone would recommend somebody else. You won't hurt my feelings. In fact, you'll make me real happy. And I'll make Brandon happy, but doesn't have to be him, be anybody. Steak supper, no, I didn't say that. So we'll do that next month. So if nobody has anything else,